My acne started when I was 12. Looking back now, I didn't realise how bad it was. I see a photo and I think, oh wow, like I went to school like that.
I tried to ensure that there wasn't any physical proof of the way that I looked because to me, if there wasn't any proof, it never happened.
Hi, my name's Dr. Alia. I'm a consultant dermatologist and I have a special interest in psychodermatology. Today we're talking about acne, an incredibly common problem worldwide, and it especially affects teenagers. It has a real emotional impact. We'll be talking about how it makes people feel, the pressures that come with acne, and also what really helps. Today I'm joined by Ethan and Sadie and their parents. So I'd like to start with Ethan. Ethan, I really like to know about people's journey with their acne. So tell me a little bit about when it started, how it made you feel. I just want to know what you went through.
So my acne journey started when I was about 10 or 11, as I was quite an early bloomer, so about year 6. And originally I wasn't too bothered by it because I was still fairly young and I didn't fully understand it. And then as soon as people started to notice, as it became a lot more visible, I started to get quite belittled and bullied because of it, because everyone believes, especially when you're much younger, oh, they're different, they're odd, there's something wrong with them. And that massively impacted my self-esteem, and it almost made me believe what they were saying.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that happened to you. That sounds like it was really difficult. Did you get any support?
I did, from my dad, so I was very thankful about that, but not very much from my fellow peers.
I've definitely heard that before, and I think it's very difficult, isn't it, when you look for support and you don't get it from the people that you would expect. When you look back at that time, is there anything you would like to say to other young people with acne?
If I were to give any advice, I would definitely say to not treat it as something that is wrong. And that was what my issue was. I thought that I was at fault, I was doing something wrong, I was almost a burden on other people because of just the way that I looked. So I would encourage everybody to accept it. It's natural, it's normal. Everybody does go through it regardless of what other people say, and that it is nothing to do with who you are as a person, and that should not dictate how you act as a person either.
And now that you've come through that journey, how do you feel about your skin now?
I feel proud that I went through it because it's taught me a lot.
Yeah.
You've got to find what works for you and just go through it.
Absolutely. Dad, when you were watching your son, who I'm sure you're incredibly proud of, going through that, were there any things that you thought, oh, I wish I could do this? Or what was going through your mind as a parent?
What I went through when I was Ethan's age is nothing compared to what Ethan did through now, especially with social media. As a parent, you'd give anything to take away your child's pain.
Ethan, where do you feel social media was in your journey? Was it helpful? Was it not helpful? What could have been helpful?
Definitely the influence of social media meant that when I was going through my journey, I tried to avoid it at any cost.
Okay.
I tried to ensure that there wasn't any physical proof of the way that I looked because to me, if there wasn't any proof, it never happened. So no photographs. My dad had to convince me very heavily to get my school leavers photograph because I just wanted to isolate myself. But I'm very glad now that that's starting to turn around on social media and there's a bit more of a following behind the support.
So a lot more maybe skin positivity.
Absolutely.
Is what we see. So Sadie, if I can ask you, does any of that sound familiar? Are you thinking, oh yeah, that was me?
Yeah, 100%. So my acne started when I was 12, so a bit older than Ethan, so it never went away. It just always got worse. I never had, oh, I had a good day here, had a bad day here. It was just bad days. But I learnt to accept it, and I didn't feel like at the time it affected my confidence. I mean, I feel like my mum says that it did, but I feel like I couldn't change it, so I learnt to accept it. And looking back now, I didn't realise how bad it was, and I think I see a photo and I think, oh wow, like I went to school like that. And sometimes you do feel like, are people looking at me?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I then realised acne doesn't define me, and just because I have something on my face doesn't show who I am as a person.
I mean, I like what you said about acceptance. But not everybody, not every young person can accept their acne. So it depends on you, your personality, your family's
100%.
support and everything. So is there anything that you would say to a teenager living with acne at the moment from your side, anything supportive that you'd like to say to them?
It's a hard journey, but yeah, just push through. And acne doesn't define you as a person, and you are beautiful inside and out, no matter what.
That's amazing.
Well
Such
said.
an inspirational message. Mum, you must be so proud.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay, I understand. Lots of parents, I think, when you see your child come through such a difficult time and then you see them literally blooming, you're like, oh, this is amazing. But it's a product of your hard work as well as their hard work.
It was a hard journey.
Is for a parent to another parent, if you see parents whose children have acne or your teenagers are having acne, what would you say to them? Like, do you have any advice for them from your own experience?
I would say go to see a doctor, not to try everything on so much, because it's hard. There's so much out there. Sadie was putting so many different things on her skin to begin with, and
it's just frustrating when it doesn't work, because you think, what is going to work? Like, you feel like there's nothing to help because it just doesn't work, and then you think, what do I do?
It's trial and error.
Yeah.
It becomes almost trial and error.
Yeah,
I think the whole family can become involved at some point as well, isn't it? So you're trying to find a fix.
Yeah.
And
Desperate.
you really want, okay, well, this person tried this, and maybe if we try it, it will work.
Yeah.
And then you change to something else, and then you keep changing. And I think
Absolutely.
sometimes that aggravates the stress, doesn't it? Because then again, those guilty feelings rise, like, we bought this, it didn't work, or we tried this, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Now
I
things are
think
getting worse.
You look at other people and think, like, see what they tried, and then you try it and it doesn't work, and then you just keep trying what everyone says, and then it works for one person, it does, and you're like, what do I do?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing about acne. Even though the biology of acne is probably similar in all people, all young people, there are so many individual factors that play a part where we can't predict if, for example, Sadie's acne journey is going to be the same as Ethan's acne journey. It will always be different, and everybody will deal with it differently.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you noticed about Sadie when she was going through the tougher times with her skin compared to now?
Oh yeah, she's always been really good at accepting, but she wore a lot of makeup. She did try and cover it
I'd
a
never
lot.
go out of the house with no makeup on.
I was so proud with the way, she did deal with it. I think because it wasn't like overnight her acne was horrendous. She it started off just round her mouth, then it got worse and worse as the years went on until it was sore, wasn't it? Like really painful.
Like in the summer and like on holidays, bad. It would go like awfully sore, like it was awful, and then like I wouldn't even want to go out like with my friends in summer, because you think, how can I go? Like they're all got like no makeup on, jumping in and out the pool, and I'm like, no.
I think people forget that about acne. Actually, we always associate it with what we see physically, like you see a spot or you see a bump, but it can be incredibly painful. People will forget that. Waking up and the pillow has blood on it, or spending a lot of time in front of the mirror, it can lead to all of these things that people forget. It's really inspirational, both of your stories, and also from parents as well, to hear what you've been through and how you've come out of it. So I find it really helpful for young people and also parents to understand why acne happens in the first place, because actually there are a lot of myths around it and people don't always understand the science or the biology behind acne, and that's really common. And if you understand it better, then I feel like you can probably make a better plan for treatment, and also when to get help. So acne really is a combination of 4 things. So one is oil production, and that is driven by hormones. Also, you then get pore clogging, and then you get inflammation. You also need the right bacteria on your skin, and most young people with acne do have the right bacteria. So it's a combination of all of those 4 things that cause a spot. And then what you see, obviously, is you see inflammation, then you may see a black head or a white head, and then that can become a painful pus-filled papule or a nodule on the face, and the nodules can be quite deep. So they're the ones that you can't pop, for example, but you can feel them and they're painful on the skin. And at the same time, your skin barrier is becoming disrupted because you've got this inflammation from acne. And then on top of that, you're probably using things on your skin which may or may not be causing irritation, may or may not be having any beneficial effect. And then this drives the inflammation even more. The other thing that happens is obviously acne can be quite distressing. And when you are feeling distressed, your brain interprets that as stress. And stress drives oil production, which may influence acne or breakouts. So then this starts to become a bit of a vicious cycle, actually. So you're trying to do everything to make it better. But actually what I find is if you're not targeting all 4 of those elements, then sometimes you're not getting the results that you want. And also what we need to remember is that acne is different in different people. So different skin colours may have a different experience of acne. If you have a darker skin tone, you're more likely to get a mark, whereas if you have a lighter skin tone, maybe not so likely. Then people have their own factors like diet. So there are some associations between diet and acne that are going under further research at the moment. Also lifestyle factors, how you style your hair. Do you wear a hat, for example? A lot of young people will maybe start to wear a hat to disguise the acne, but actually that might be making it worse because you're creating even more congestion and heat and oil production and sweat and bacteria, and then that feeds the whole process as well. So it's a little bit of everything when it comes to acne, and definitely the lifestyle factors are important. Mental health impact is definitely important. Also simple things like pain and inflammation. Most people wouldn't think to take a painkiller, for example, if they had acne, but because it can be intensely painful, even if it's on your body or on your face, maybe that is something that people need to think about. So hopefully at least, now you've been through the journey, but then through your journey, you can hopefully educate other people as well and say, well, actually, it's not just because you don't wash your face twice a day, or it's not just because you had that chocolate that you've got acne. So it's a combination. If you are experiencing psychological impact of the acne, so it's causing life impact, stopping you from doing the things that you want to do, then actually that is a criteria for referral to see a dermatologist. But not many people know that. No. And then, of course, I have to always say there is a wait to see us. So it's difficult, but I think you can start with the simple things. I don't like to hear people have spent lots and lots of money buying lots and lots of things, and they've been changing it every single week and trying to find the miracle, because there is no miracle. I said, it's a bit of everything. And also, for the young people, not to put themselves under too much pressure to suddenly become, very gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, everything-free. So one of the most common questions that I get from parents and also from young people that have got acne is, what shall I do about the skincare routine? Some of the basic principles that I suggest for everyone that has got acne or breakout-prone skin, you should be cleansing your skin. So you should be cleansing at least twice a day, because cleansing is removing all that surface dirt and bacteria. So it's getting rid of it, basically, and it's also making your skin ready for whatever you're about to do next. So one of the things that I recommend quite regularly, Purified does a foaming cleanser, which is a non-soap containing cleanser. Also, one good thing about it is that your skin barrier, when you have acne, as you've experienced, is quite irritated and it's inflamed. So you don't want something that will strip it even further. You want something that's easily tolerated, especially if you're using medical treatments alongside. So you want things that work with your routine. So this is one product that I really like, and I'd like you to have a look at it as well. After this, I normally recommend that if you're having some medical treatment for your acne, that is when the medical treatment goes on. And then after that, you need to think about protection. Now, moisturizers are actually very good protection, and Purified is a daily moisturizer with sunscreen. The reason I suggest this, and actually many people will hear that you shouldn't use moisturizer when you have acne because it clogs your skin further, it could make the acne worse. But again, your skin barrier is inflamed, and it does actually need something to keep it balanced and to reduce that irritation and ongoing inflammation. Using a moisturizer that has got sunscreen during the day is also really important. Firstly, it's one less step for you when you're especially trying to rush out of the front door to go and do your next things. But also it reduces the chance of developing those longer standing blemishes and marks on the skin that you get from spots. So that's another thing if you'd like to have a look at it. Now, other skincare routines, that's a morning one, you see, and then you need to have an evening one. So again, in the evening, I normally say you should remove, if you've worn makeup during the day, you should remove it. You need to cleanse your skin again. You could use the same cleanser that we've already talked about, the Purified Daily Cleanser. You can also use more exfoliating cleansers if you want to. People normally have a little bit more time in the evening, so you've got a little bit more time to rub it in, leave it on for a couple of minutes, wash it off, so you can use that sort of routine. The moisturizer that you're looking at now, that's got sunscreen, so it's not really appropriate, or it's not needed needed for nighttime. So there is another one, which is a clearing gel moisturizer, which is hydrating the skin. It's also rebalancing the microbiome of the skin, because you hear that a lot as well, isn't it? Skin barrier, skin microbiome, and all the other things that we've talked about today that contribute to acne formation or spot formation. So this is a nice one to use in the evening, and again, doesn't leave that sticky sort of residue on the skin, which I think people generally want to avoid. Now, something that is very, very popular are the spot patches. You see everyone with spot patches now. They're almost a fashion statement. If you haven't got one, it's not right. And Sadie was mentioning to me that sometimes people wear them even when they don't have acne. So I found that very interesting. So Purified do some power patches. And what they've done is they've actually got two types. So we've got the first one, which is a 3-in-1. And this one is really suitable for those spots that are emerging spots. So when you can start to feel that there is something coming up, and you can put it directly on the skin to just reduce that spot from appearing in the first place. And again, that also helps to reduce the chance of that developing into a mark later. All of the products, which are the spot patches from Purified, also contain salicylic acid. If you're familiar with that, it is an exfoliating acid. It cleans pores deeply, so it's a handy thing to use. And then helpfully, they've also developed a skin restore spot patch. So this is for the existing whitehead spot. So the one that you want to remove the pus quickly and let the spot start to heal so that it doesn't leave a mark on the skin. And these also can be used. It also contains the salicylic acid as well. So these types of spot patches, I think, are really helpful, not only because they're delivering an active ingredient to the skin, to the area that needs it, but also it's reducing you touching it, because many people will touch their skin or they may be picking spots. So it reduces the chance of that happening as well. And I think a lot of people probably are using spot patches because they want to stop that hand touching their skin directly all the time. You're nodding so I can see that this is... Exactly. So it's a very popular way. And I think it's a very nice way to be able to treat the spots. These ones are clear, so they are not noticeable. But you were mentioning that sometimes people can notice spot patches. And it will depend, everybody will depend in their experience on how they deal with it and how they don't. But they are generally, I think, quite acceptable for young people to be wearing spot patches. So I hope that's given you some clarity on what could be possible for skincare routines, and what you can tell. Now you can tell your friends who have got young people with acne how they can start as well. But I think what we can probably all take away from this is that acne is common. We know that the emotional impact is there and it's real. We've talked about skincare. Simple routines and being consistent is probably the most helpful thing that can happen. And also for parents, you don't need to have all the answers. Just being there, I think, as a supportive network for your young person is the most important thing that you can do. So thank you to all of you.
Thank
you
you.
to you.
Thank you.